We finally have the final PC specs for Forspoken, and honestly, I'm kind of shocked at what they are saying. But first, as usual, I just wanted to let you know about the current Forspoken giveaway for a standard edition of the game on Steam. You can find the details in the description of this video, so go check that out. Now jumping back into the video, if you are a PC player, I'd like you to pause the video and let me know what type of graphics card you have and how you think the game should run with your PC. Because I guarantee the actual specs are going to blow your expectations out of the water. First of all, the minimum requirements are to hit 720p at 30 frames per second. For some reason, they haven't included specs for 1080p, but we can estimate it between the minimum and recommended, as the recommended is 1440p at 30 frames per second. Anyway, for 720p at 30 frames, they suggest having at least an Nvidia GeForce GTX 1060 or an AMD Radeon 5500 XT. This isn't too bad until you remember that this is for 720p at 30 frames only. I'd at least expect most games in 2023 to hit 1080p at 60 frames as a minimum, or recommended at a push. The CPU that they recommend is an Intel Core i7 3770 or an AMD Ryzen 5 1600. Honestly, this isn't too bad. And then RAM requirements are at least 16GB of RAM for the minimum requirements, and they only get worse from here. Moving on to recommended, this is for 1440p or 2K at 30 frames. Honestly, I like to try and stay positive, but these specs just seem so weird to me right now. But anyway, for your GPU, they recommend an Nvidia 3070 or an AMD Radeon RX 6700 XT. And then for the CPU, they recommend an Intel Core i7 8700K or an AMD Ryzen 5 3600. Then moving on, you'll need at least 24GB of RAM, which is just absolutely nuts. You either mainly see people with 16GB or 32GB. The fact that you need them between the two just kind of blows my mind. But they also make a point to mention that you'll need an SSD to run the game at these specs. Now, when it comes to Ultra, this is your 4K 60fps bread and butter. I don't really understand why they didn't target 60 frames for minimum recommended, but it is whatever at this point. But firstly, for the GPU, expect this to be a big hitter, because you'll need an Nvidia GeForce RTX 4080 or an AMD Radeon RX 6800 XT, which should be the equivalent of a 3080 from Nvidia. I'm not sure what the hell is going on there, but my initial thoughts are that the game is more optimized for AMD systems over Nvidia, but we'll see when the game is out. After that, you're going to need an Intel Core i7 12700K or a Ryzen 5 5800X for your CPU. And then for the RAM, the requirements think you should have at least 32GB of RAM with the game stored on an NVMe drive. So I doubt a lot of players will be playing on this setting anytime soon. As for the storage space on console, however, I did see this would be around 85GB, but for PC they recommend around 150GB or more. Like, what the hell does that even mean when they say or more? 150GB is a big ask of any player for one game. I also believe that the game will be available to preload 2 days before release, which is at least some good news for you all. Anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this video, and please let me know what you think of these PC specs in the comments below, as my goal is to give you the best guides that are quick and let you jump straight back into the game. So if you like that, then hit the like button below and subscribe for more Forspoken in the future. Also, here is a massive thank you for watching my videos, and don't forget to enjoy the rest of your day.